Good evening and welcome. Calling to order the Town of Londonderry ZBA Board of Adjustment, May 17th, 2023. This evening, I will go through the procedures on how we conduct business. The clerk will read the case into the record. The applicant will come here up to the front. You will state your name and present what it is that you are here before the board. The board will address the applicant with any questions or comments. Those that are in favor of the request are given the opportunity to address the board. We ask that when you address the board that you do not speak to the applicant, you speak to the board so that we have one voice going back and forth. Those that are opposed or have questions regarding the request are given the opportunity in which to also speak to the board. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to rebut any opposition. The opposition is given the opportunity for any rebuttal. The board addresses the applicant with any additional comments or questions. If there are none, the public hearing portion regarding the case is then closed. The board will then enter into deliberation and vote on the request or continues the case to a future date. Those of you who wish to speak this evening must please come to the mic, state your name and address for the record. Again, all conversations will be directed through the board to ensure a single line of communication. We ask that you please turn your cell phones to either vibrate or off during the meeting. You may stay for the deliberations, or you may go to the town website following this meeting for the decision. And we will proceed with this evening's meeting by first having everyone introduce themselves so that you know who we are. Would you please like to start us off?
My name is Nick Gardner, I'm the Chief Building Inspector and Building Administrator.
Good evening, Mike Malaguti, I'm the town manager.
Kelly Karen, Assistant Town Manager.
Irene Macarelli, full member.
Brennan O'Brien, full member.
Jackie Bernard, full member.
Suzanne Brunel, full member.
Bob Robichuk, alternate.
And this evening, we need to vote in. All right, so we have three members. We will need to, we have, Irene, that's right, you're a full member now. Okay, four. All right, so, Nick, Rob. Rob, we're going to vote you in, so you'll need to vote tonight. Do I have wow, tonight's going to be a long night.
Motion.
Do I have a motion?
Do we need a motion?
I believe we do.
You don't, you can just appoint him.
We can
as
appoint,
chair.
okay, so you're appointed
Congratulations.
for this evening.
Have to leave.
So, all right. The first case, we will start tonight's meeting with the draft minutes from the April 19th, 2023 meeting. Do I have,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 19, 2023 meeting.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, one abstain. Do we have a report from the town council liaison this evening?
Who is our town council liaison now?
That's a good question. I think it's Ron Dunn.
Oh, okay.
If you'll bear with us a moment, Madam
That's
Chair,
okay.
the assignments are on the website. Yeah.
Ron.
It is.
Counselor Dunn.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there is no report from town council. Regional impact determination for this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair. The four cases before you this evening, staff is recommending these are not of regional impact.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the regional impact determination?
I'll make a motion to accept the regional impact.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That brings us to our public hearing portion of tonight. The first case, would you please read into the record?
Case number 5/17/2023-1, a request for a special exception from LZO 5.13 for the farm sale of consumable non-farm products, 55A High Range Road, map 5, lot 49, zoned AR1, Daniel and Kelly Hicks, owner, Sunnycrest Farm Incorporated, applicant.
Would you please approach? And please state your name and address for the records. You may sit down and be
You want me to sit down?
comfortable.
I was gonna try to
Absolutely.
be official.
Absolutely, be comfortable.
All right. All right. My name is Danny Hicks the fourth. I run Sunnycrest Farm with Samantha Fay here. My parents, we have a little bit of a family emergency, so my parents will not be here tonight, but I am here to be in their place. So Sunnycrest Farm is applying for a special exception, the sale of consumable non-farm products. We are focusing on two areas, selling non-farm products in our farm market and operating an ice cream room. Applying for this exception will give Sunnycrest Farm some financial support for when we have a bad season, because this is a farm, and sometimes the weather does not work in our favor, as we have a frost coming tonight too. We lost a lot of our peach crop this year, for example, for those cold couple of days in February. And we're going to have pretty much no peaches, no cherries, so we're trying to think outside the box, new things to come to this town and work with you guys and try to think of new ideas. So what me and Samantha here thought of is what we're thinking about is ice cream room, a new patio area. We're getting the septic system brand new put in and trying to make it look nice and neat and tidy. And that money that could be brought in from that makes a world of a difference, especially when we are a big pick-your-own-farm. This goes from anything from strawberries, blueberries, cherries, peaches, any of those, we have a bad year. That's quite the financial hit. So we are looking to convert one of our storage rooms into an ice cream room. Our customers will be able to order through an outdoor window and receive their orders at the next window down. We would like to insert 4 windows to help with the flow of traffic. We like to add on to existing patio space to create a designated space for ordering and extra seating for customers. We are looking to operate this room daily from the months of April through October. The hours of operation will run from 12 noon till 8 p.m. These hours will not conflict with our summer pick-your-own hours, which are 7 till noon, about cars, traffic, and parking, and so on. For the farm market side of things, we would like to have the option of selling New Hampshire-made beer and wine. We are seeking to comply with a combination license through the state of New Hampshire. This would allow Sunnycrest Farm to sell beer, wine for off-premises consumption, because here at the farm, we sell to a numerous amount of breweries. This goes from anything from our cider to anything. We sell strawberries to breweries, blueberry. They make blueberry beer now. It's insane, the stuff they make. And that's what we're looking into since we sell to so many breweries. And wineries too. The reason Sunnycrest Farm is interested in selling New Hampshire beer and wine is that we supply many of them. And we just said that, so I apologize. But by obtaining a liquor license, we will be able to support other New Hampshire businesses that have supported us throughout the years. Thank you for considering our proposal. We are welcome to any questions.
Does any members of the board have any questions for the applicant?
Do you want to go around?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have 2 questions. One is, well, actually maybe 3, but you're selling stuff now, right?
Yep.
But it's not liquor and it's not ice cream for consumption on premises, correct?
Correct.
So what is the variance that you're looking for exactly?
Special exception.
Right.
Specific.
Sell non-farm items.
All right, that's fine. And I'm assuming, my last thing is a comment, I'm assuming you're gonna meet all the code requirements for doing that.
Absolutely.
Board of Health and
Yep.
food permit and all that.
Yeah, we already have a lot of connections with the stuff that we do at the farm already.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Anyone else from the board have questions? Okay, so I have a question. When we pull up currently to the farm stand.
Yep.
You said that you wanted to put 4 windows,
Yes.
and So if I'm walking into the front door, where are these windows? To the left? to
We
the
actually
right?
have pictures we can
This to you?
hand you.
That would be very
Yep.
helpful.
If you're looking at, the farm store, it's going to be off to the left where we're going to create a whole new patio running down the side of the building, which is near already our cider donut pickup window.
Okay, I was gonna say, is it near the donut?
It's near
Okay.
that, and that line gets already long, so that's why we want to extend our not the balcony, I'm sorry, the more standing room, chairs, tables, umbrellas, you name it.
Thank you.
So what you just handed us, we're gonna mark as Exhibit A, okay, for our records. That way, if you wanna look back at
Sure.
tonight's meeting, you'll understand what Exhibit A
Okay.
is. So in photo one, that's the front entrance that's on the upper right-hand corner of that photo.
Correct.
So you're gonna put, are you extending or adding on to that building?
Yes.
No.
Oh, no, I
We're
mean
not
the
adding on to building.
patio.
So in photo 3, you can see
Yes.
the white building.
Yes.
Inside of that is all storage, so we would like to insert 4 windows there and extend the patio along that building.
Okay, got
So
it.
there's no additional building
Okay.
externally.
Okay. And you are going to be adding restrooms?
No, we have porta potties that we rent in every year.
Okay. So what is currently in the store now, for non-farm items, you've expanded in there, and you want to add beer and wine to the inside for sale?
Yes.
For sale, okay. And the summer operation, you said is from 7 AM to noon? It's not open later in the summer?
So that's for the pick your own operation, which is
Oh,
our
pick your own,
heavy
okay.
traffic flow. The store itself is open from 9 to 6.
Okay. And 9 to 6 is the summer hours?
Yes.
And
Receive the whole
then
season.
the additional ice cream stand is April to October, noon to 8, 12 to 8?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So we can kind of make a little bit of a separation with the traffic flow and cars and stuff like that.
Okay, and that was where I was going with it, how that was?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And do you plan on adding staff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how many staff, employees do you have now? For the
Sorry.
store part?
So the store part, I
Yeah.
probably have, when it's peak season, we have about 35.
Okay.
But we might hire some staff in, but the pick your own operation only goes till 12. So some students or some employees will either sign up for the ice cream ship or the pick your own shift. So whatever, it gives them more flexibility to work morning or afternoon.
Okay. And where do the employees park now?
So they park on the right side of the farm stand.
Which is the other side of that white building?
No.
The other side of the red building, if you're looking
Oh,
at
the
the farm
red,
store,
okay.
to the right of that.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
But at a given day, we maybe have 10 employees.
Depending how busy it is.
Right.
Okay. Is there any other questions of the applicant?
So how many parking spaces do you have in total?
For this area, I would say we have about 75.
I'm sorry, 75?
75.
One of the questions you didn't answer on the application, which was number 11, is the use specifically authorized by ordinance as special exception use in the district within which such particular site is located? You're not going to know the answer to that.
Yes, it
Chris,
is.
yes?
Are there any other questions from the board members? Okay, I'm going to take it out to the audience. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? All right, let the record, please approach, sir, and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jim Butler, and I live at 5A Danbury Court. I want to let you know that I've known this family, the Hicks for at least 34 years being in town. They run a good operation, and I wholeheartedly support this move. I think it's good for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of the applicant? All right, let the record show that there is no one. Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak? Okay, let the record show that there is no one in opposition. I'm going to bring it back to the board one more time for any other further questions. Okay. We will close this part of the hearing. Do we have to read into the record everything that the applicant responded to on the special exceptions?
I would advise doing that,
Okay.
yes.
So I have a variance voting sheet. Should we just do this on the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
that works.
All right, you ready? If you want, mark the case number.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay. And then just, you're not going to actually write out every single,
I'm just gonna do 1 through 19, yes, no,
yeah,
yes,
yes, no,
That's-
and that's it.
Just,
Okay.
that's what, there's no voting sheet for special exception. It's just a matter of going through and.
Through the record, for the record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Would you like me to do that for you?
What?
Want me to read it for you?
I can read it, let me just number this.
Okay.
So question 1, will the use be detrimental to the health or safety of residents? I would say no.
I would say no, I agree.
We don't even have to vote, we just have to read what was the
I
applicant.
thought we had to make a determination, but I can't.
You should concur whether you agree or
Okay.
not.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Does the use cause or create a nuisance or hazard to adjacent properties? I would say no.
I agree.
Agree?
Will the use create undue traffic congestion or a traffic safety hazard in the vicinity of the proposed development? I would say no.
I agree.
Agree?
Agree.
Will the use be incompatible with the surrounding neighborhood? I would say no.
I agree?
I agree.
Agree.
Will the use be a detriment to property values in the vicinity of the proposed development with consideration given to the location or scale of buildings, structures, parking areas, or other access ways? I would say no.
I agree.
Agree?
Agree.
Will a nuisance be created by such use by way of emission of odor, smoke, gas, dust, noise, glare, heat, vibration, or other pollutants, or the unsightly outdoor storage of equipment, vehicles, or other materials? I would say no.
I agree.
Agree?
Will the use create a hazard to the public or adjacent property on account of potential fire, explosion, or release of toxic materials? I would say no.
Agree.
Agree?
Will the use result in the degradation of existing surface and groundwater quality standards, or will it have an adverse effect on the natural functions of wetlands on the site, which would result in the loss of significant habitat or flood control protection? I would say no.
Agree.
Agree?
Will adequate and appropriate facilities provided for the intended use? I would say yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Will all necessary state and federal permits be obtained? I would say yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Is the use specifically authorized by ordinance as a special exception use in the district within which such particular site is located? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Agree?
Are there appropriate provisions for access facilities adequate for the estimated traffic from public streets and sidewalks so as to assure the public safety and to avoid traffic congestion? I would say yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Are the vehicular entrances and exits be clearly visible from the street? I would say yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Are there fully adequate parking areas and off-street truck loading spaces in conformity with this ordinance and all other pertinent ordinances for the anticipated number of occupants, employees, and patrons? I would say yes.
I
Agree?
Agree.
Is the layout of the parking spaces, truck loading berths, and interior driveways convenient and conducive to safe operation? I would say yes.
Agree?
Are there adequate provisions for the collection and disposal of stormwater runoff from the site? I would say yes.
Agree?
Agree.
Is protective screening necessary? I would say no.
Agree.
Agree.
Agree?
Is there or will there be the installation of outdoor flood or spotlighting? Yes.
Yes.
Agree?
Agree.
So the sheet says that we have to determine that such lighting will not shine directly upon a budding property nor upon the street. No unshielded lights
Be a
shall
pretty
be
big
permitted.
light, okay.
Let me open it back up. The light that you have, it's above the door, I thought.
Yes.
And that's the only one. There's no other floodlight or anything. There's a pole street light.
Yep, just for
That's
the
it.
entrance to the store, yeah.
Okay.
Because like, especially at the end of the season, when 6 o'clock comes around, it gets darker earlier.
Yes.
Those are the ones you'll see, so customers can still come in and see.
So you're not installing anything new?
No other lighting.
Anything maybe by the windows?
For the
Oh,
ice cream stands, yeah.
windows, so they can see when they
So they can
approach.
obviously see, but nothing that's gonna, blind oncoming
flood or
drivers.
spotlight.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If lighting is being added, it may be a good idea to add a condition of administrative review by staff, by planning department staff.
Okay. So is the answer to that one yes? Is there, or will there be installation of outdoor flood or spot lighting? Or is it no?
I think
It's
there's,
no.
well, if it says yes, then you'll have to determine that the light is not shining directly, so
So the answer is yes, and then we'll,
administrative review.
yeah,
Okay.
at the end.
Are there wetlands on the property that require input from the Conservation Commission? The answer is no.
No. Agreed.
Okay. Then I'll add a condition, the proposed additional lighting to be reviewed by staff?
Administrative review by staff,
Administrative,
yeah.
okay.
And do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion in case number 5/17/2023-1 to grant the request for a special exception.
I'll second.
May I have the condition read into the record?
With the condition that the proposed additional lighting is subject to administrative review by staff.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
Second again.
Great, thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It has been granted. You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, you got it. Good job.
Thank you. We ready for the next one?
Ready?
Case number 5/17/2023-2, a request for a variance from LZO 5.12.2.K.3 to permit online retail vehicle sales and storage as a home occupation, 27 Perkins Road, map 12, lot 96, zoned AR1, Donald Belisle, owner and applicant.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. How are you?
Very good. Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Donald Belisle, 27 Perkins Road. I'm looking to do online sales in my front building at 27 Perkins Road.
And your name, ma'am?
My name's Beth Mert,
Okay. And your address, please?
120 Shore Drive, Salem, New Hampshire.
Thank you. And you may present your case.
I'm looking to do online sales of automobiles in the building. Cars won't be out front. All the cars will be inside the building. I'm looking to do 5 or 6, maybe a month. The building has been there for years and been used for commercial use. And I'm just looking to, use that space for, extra income. And
Okay, did you bring the application that you filled out? with you this evening.
I did not.
So to have a variance, you must go through the 5 points of law, and Kelly's going to give you a copy, and you have to go through all those 5 points of law in order to have the variance reviewed. So you can start at 1 and just read to us what it is for the variance requirements.
Can I jump in on this because it is in
You
my
can-
handwriting?
All right, yeah.
All right. So, starting at 1.
Yes.
The variance will not, contrary to public interest. The proposed will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, threat the public health or safety. 2, the spirit of the ordinance is observed. We will be doing online car sales. Customers will not be on the property. 3, substantial justice is done. There will be no impact to the general public. 4, the values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished. The cars will be stored in the existing garage. No signs will be on the garage, strictly online auto sales. 5, literal enforcement of provisions or ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. A, for the purpose of the subparagraph, unnecessary hardship means owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. So the first one is no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general purposes of the ordinance provision and specific application provision of the property. And I have a large suitable garage to house 3 to 4 vehicles for online sales. 2, the proposed use is a reasonable one. The existing garage was previously used as with signage and was a countertop company. I would be using it to store cars for online car sales. B, the criteria of subparagraph A are not established, and unnecessary hardship will be deemed to exist if and only to special conditions of the property to distinguish it from properties in the area. The property can not be reasonably used in strict conformance with the ordinance and variance, and therefore necessary to enable responsibility with us. Nothing will change the look and characteristic of the neighborhood by using the existing commercial building is to store cars. That's 5.
Any board members have any questions of the applicant?
I have one.
Sure.
So will customers be coming to test drive the cars?
No, we can meet them wherever. So I just want to chime in that it is something I already do, but not as many cars as I'd like to. So in the state of New Hampshire, if you sell more than 5 cars, you need to have a dealership license. In order to acquire that, you have to have a place to store the vehicles. And the New Hampshire State Police come out and do an inspection of the property. Fortunately, my fiance has that. So, does that answer the
Yes,
question?
thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, I have a few.
Okay.
So you require a license after, or if you sell more than 5 cars, is that a year?
A year.
A year. The small building that I see next to what appears to be the large garage, is that a home? What is that? That's
The
small
front, the front
building.
building is
Yep.
the larger of the 2 that are on the property. One building was knocked down, it was an old chicken coop that was adjacent to it, which I took down and landscaped and whatnot. We put a garage door there, and we're basically doing this as more or less as a hobby, and you know, we're gonna keep everything inside. We're not gonna put a car outside with a sign on it for sale. No one's gonna see a car. You know, if we have a deal plate, we wanna drive that particular car, we might
We're
be
car
driving that car.
enthusiasts. We may drive the car.
Do you currently have dealer plates?
I don't.
Okay.
This is the first process, so.
Okay.
I'm the one that is actively pursuing my dealer license.
Okay.
In order to do that, I need place for the
And
cars
how
to be
many-
stored.
And how many cars are you anticipating on storage, or of storing
I
there
mean, we
now?
could- 3 or 4, max 6.
Can you? Can you fit 6 in there?
Yes.
We could fit probably 12.
And are you going to be repairing the cars in there?
No.
No, I have a mechanic.
We're not, we're looking to buy more or less cars that are sought after, like Corvettes, nice cars that don't really need too much work. And if they do, if they need tires, we're gonna bring them to Town Fair Tire, have the tires put on, have it brought back, and sit there until it's sold.
So the variance that you seek, when a variance, if it is granted, it stays with the land. Okay, so if you move out or the property is sold, if that variance is granted for this property, then someone could also run a vehicle retail sale and storage as a home occupation there. So a home occupation is clearly defined in our regulations. You shouldn't even know that it's there, you shouldn't smell anything, you shouldn't have any noise. No one would know that it was there. So I just want you to have a clear understanding of
That's
the
what we
variance
want to
that
be.
you seek.
You know, we're redoing the whole property, we're putting in irrigation, grass and whatnot, and, you know, it was a mess before. And, you know, we want it to be real nice.
We want it to be our home, not a home business.
So your potential customers go online to seek the vehicles that you're selling,
Exactly.
and you bring the vehicles to them? You don't have them come to your place of business? Okay. So you could transfer the title
So
off
often,
off-site?
so oftentimes these vehicles, because like I said, I've done this before, so has Donnie. The last car we sold was to someone out in Oregon, so it's shipped on a truck out west in that scenario. So, again, we're not trying to sell, you know, a 2015 Honda. It would be more either higher end or antique old type of car.
And how many employees do you have?
It's all me.
Okay. So you're not
Nobody.
intending on having any other employees?
no.
Okay. And what would be your hours of operation?
Well, the state says you need to be there from, run, I believe it's 7.5 or 8 hours a day, so that's what it.
So your dealer license requires you to be there 8 hours a day?
Right,
Okay. For how many days? 7 days a week?
7, no, I think it's 5. right?
5 days? Okay. Are you going to be putting any signage?
No.
I don't want to, but I think the law states that you need a sign, but I could put that on a window, which is on the side of the building, which, you wouldn't see from the road. You just need saying that, you know, whatever we call the business, we put it in the window that we walk in, you know, just 2 side doors.
And how long have you owned this property?
Over a year now.
Okay. So the last of the 5 criteria for special conditions of this property, you must answer that why it's either this property is unique to any other property in our town, and why, or if there's a hardship in which that piece of property can't be used in any other way.
I can't be used in any other way?
So for the hardship part, which
Right.
is the hardest of all the criteria when you seek a variance,
Right.
what is so unique about this property that it has special conditions and it can't be used for anything else? Is there,
Well, I mean, the size of the garage, it's like a commercial garage, and if it's been used for 70 years, that's commercial use, and I'm not looking to do anything that would jeopardize our town or whatnot. And like I said before, we won't have cars outside. I just want to be able to get our dealer license and have that all within the parameters of the garage that's up front.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
And we might need some help from you guys. I don't understand how they were, Counter Company was there previously, so was there a prior variance?
Our understanding is it predated zoning.
There's a countertop,
It's a long time ago.
windows.
From this angle, it looks like you've got multiple garages and buildings
We
on the
do.
property. Is that right?
do.
Okay.
But I have a middle building that, I race stock cars. So I use that for my racing and whatnot. So I have trailers there and whatnot. But that has nothing to do with the front building that we
Right.
want to use for the auto sales.
So on that fifth criteria, we're all supposed to comply with the law. So for us to change it for you, there needs to be something different. Maybe Brendan's going with a bunch of garages on there makes it different. That doesn't work for me. I don't know if the layout of the property is different than the other properties. I don't know how far you are from the street. If you're off the street, maybe people aren't going to see it. You are asking to run a business in a residential neighborhood, so looking for something that makes your property different than others.
So just to be clear, so we have to go by the 5 criteria of the law. So that is what we have to follow.
I understand.
Okay. So on that last question, there must be something unique about this property, and that's why you are seeking this variance for this home occupation.
Well, it's unique in the aspect that it's been used commercially and
As a home occupation.
for businesses for years. And I don't think it's too much to ask to do something that the public won't see and it will be indoors and the building's unique in the way that it's been used commercially its whole life.
All right, let me ask it another way. The largest of the buildings, how many feet is it from the street? The largest one, that's
large-
closest to the street. How many feet would you say it is from the road?
150? 150, 200? 200?
Yeah, 50 feet.
50 feet. Okay.
Yep, that's pretty good. Good guess.
Here's a question.
Yes, please.
So it's actually aimed at our staff. This predates current zoning, so is a grandfathered, non-conforming use, correct?
As a counter.
This
No,
is
no, I
not,
understand that.
this is
As a
not,
prior use, was
This is not-
light
this-
manufacturing, or what would you call that?
no, this is not the same use of the property.
Correct.
This is a
No,
different
no,
use.
I understand that the prior use was a non-conforming light manufacturing, whatever you call it, countertop company.
Until it was abandoned.
Correct, that was abandoned, so they're coming here because A, it's a change of use?
They're coming here because they don't meet the permitted by right requirements for a home occupation.
Right, so it is, theoretically, would have been a change of use under, the old one was not conforming. Because if it was conforming, it wouldn't be allowed to be there, probably, the old use.
If the use that was legal non-conforming
Correct,
continued throughout this entire time, from
Correct.
1950, whatever, till now, and they were
Correct.
continuing that, no, they wouldn't be here before you.
correct, but it
as
was
soon as they
grandfathered in, no, I
change.
understand all of that. I'm just trying to make a point. They're coming in because it's a change of use, which is required to come before the ZBA, correct?
No, they're coming here because they can't meet the criteria of a home occupation
No, no, I
that's permitted
understand
by
that,
right.
but-
It's different than talking about change of use.
Well, the prior use was not a home sales either, but whatever, sure. Home occupation, I should say, but, I see what you're saying, but, okay. to help our chairperson on this, an unnecessary hardship would be that there's no other lot in Londonderry that could be used for this purpose, right? That's one hardship, which is not the case here.
Well, it doesn't have
There's
to be
probably
that-
other
It
lots
doesn't have
that
to be
could be
that
used.
dramatic. It's with other properties in the area.
But it's an example, okay? So,
I think there's plenty, you just drive around Londonderry.
hardship is they bought the house, they bought the land.
Okay, let me open it up to the audience. Is there anyone in favor of the applicant? Please approach the podium. Please state your name and address.
Dick Courier. I live at 22 Perkins Road, directly across the street.
Yes.
And that property's been in part of my family for many, many years. A lot of businesses in there. I'm a lifelong resident of Londonderry. I'm living in my wife is Debbie here. We're living in the house I grew up in. I've been in this town almost 80 years. And there's always been businesses in there. My father and my brother and I had a window and door business in there many, many years ago. And I think it's kind of grandfathered into, I don't know about this home business situation, but I am.
So you were the prior owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, many years ago, yeah.
Yes.
There was another gentleman in there prior to when Donnie bought it from him. He had a countertop business in there for about 10 years. Prior
And
to that,
when you owned it, what did you do in that property?
window and doors.
Okay, you did windows and doors?
Yeah.
And how many years did you do the windows and doors?
Oh, probably 40.
Okay.
That whole west side of Perkins Road belonged to, my father bought that whole property in 1939. And on that side of the road, there was probably 40 acres. We owned right up to Bartley Hill Road, all the way to the crest.
Okay.
And all the way to Danbury Court. And it was sold, portions of it were sold off over the years. But my brother kept that particular portion for his business. He took over the business from my father. And so it's been in the family for a long time.
Okay. Thank you very
There's
much.
been businesses in there for 70 years.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on behalf of the applicant? Is there anyone against? Please come to the podium. Please clearly state your name and address.
Mind if I sit right here just because I have my computer?
Since it's being taped for the public, they need to hear you.
All right, Jake Butler, 2 Danbury Court, Londonderry, New Hampshire. I wrote some notes down on kind of in the middle of my workday here, so bear with me as I work through them. So there's a request for a variance from 5.12.2.K.3 to permit online retail vehicle sales and storage as a home occupation at 27 Perkins Road, map 12, lot 96, zoned AR1. Donald Belisle, owner and applicant. Your special exemption guidelines from the application, the following uses shall not be considered home occupations. Number 2 and number 3 are motor vehicle and machinery service, maintenance, repair, and painting, as well as motor vehicle and machinery sales. Just a quick Google of the name brings up a company that seems like they were working out of Merrimack. Has anybody been by the property lately, out of curiosity? Have you seen the current condition of the property, the amount of dumpsters and used parts and trailers and everything that's in the front side of the property? Seems like this gentleman must own a company called Catco. They recycle used auto parts. They had obtained a special exemption in December 2019 from Merrimack to permit automobile sales, storage, service, and repair. The notes from the same thing were some violations in March 2021. where the town of Merrimack said this was not, in fact, not automotive sales, but a junkyard. New Hampshire RSA 236, 112, a junkyard is a place used for storing and keeping, or storing and selling, trading, or otherwise transferring old or scrap copper, brass, rope, rags, batteries, paper, trash, rubber, debris, waste, or junked, dismantled, or wrecked motor vehicles, or parts thereof, iron, steel, and other old or scrap ferrous or non-ferrous material. It's pretty evident driving by today, especially over the course of the past few weeks, that that's obviously what's going on there. The amount of scrap material, it looks exactly like a junkyard. I'd be curious if the property has any current violations with the town of Londonderry, if code enforcement has been out or not. I don't know if that's something staff would be
So
able to
we-
answer.
So we have to stick to what the applicant is here for.
Yep,
So that applicant, and you read it yourself, it's retail vehicle sales.
yep,
Online as a home occupation, okay?
Correct.
So if you are against, which you have come up to the podium and you are against it, state all the reasons why you are against it. okay?
absolutely. For the first part of it is it's clearly not automotive sales if you drive by it today, and there's something else going on. Is the variance contrary to public interest? Does it alter the essential character of the neighborhood? A car sales facility or a junkyard, as it presents today, clearly alters the character of a rural Londonderry neighborhood. Dumpsters, loaders, large trucks are all stuff that is on site today. Would traffic increase? I would expect the heavy traffic, such as a car carriers, to drop off cars to the property, going down a residential neighborhood road. It's evident that large trucks would be going up and down the road to pick up all the dumpsters that are on site for the gentleman's business. The spirit of the ordinance, is it observed? Section 1, General Provisions, 1.1, Purpose, to provide open space to protect as a scenic beauty and natural features of the town, as well as to provide recreation space, to preserve agricultural land, and to preserve the character of Londonderry. A junkyard, as it looks today, or an automotive sales, as it's being referred to, does not protect the scenic beauty of the town. It certainly does not preserve the character of Londonderry. Substantial justice is done. Would the variance have a significant adverse impact on an individual neighbor? As board members, I'd ask yourself, would it be harder for you to sell your home next to what looks like a junkyard right now, or what we're calling it an automotive sales place? Is the request consistent with the surrounding area? Everything around this property is a residential home, so it's clearly not consistent with the surrounding area. The values of surrounding properties are not diminished. As board members, I'd ask you again, if you were purchasing a home in Londonderry, would living next to a junkyard or automotive sales business sway your decision in purchasing that home? I would think it does. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. The proposed use, is the proposed use a reasonable one? Car sales or a junkyard, as it presents today, is an extreme use of a residential property, not a carpenter or a handyman business who wants to work out of his home and he's, got one truck and he's got a trailer and he's your local handyman. The board needs to consider how the proposal would affect neighboring properties and the town's zoning goals. Would the request alter the essential character of the neighborhood? Car sales, or the junkyard that it looks like today, would severely alter the characteristics of the residential neighborhood it surrounds. To summarize, this seems like it's a lot more than coming to request to sell automotive cars online, which it sounds like they've been down this path before and have gotten in trouble in Merrimack, and now it sounds like it wants to be in Londonderry. If the property owner would like to,
One moment,
if
sir.
the property owner would like to own some online car sales company, I'd encourage them to drive around town, look at Route 28 or Route 102. I'm sure there's plenty of land for sale that would fit this use correctly. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You now have the opportunity in which to address the applicant's concern about,
Is concerned with.
one moment, please, dumpsters, the parts that are located throughout the property. And the disarray of what's being actually stored outside. So just address those items.
Sure, absolutely. I outgrew my old location, which was in Merrimack, and I am moving to Salem, New Hampshire, and the building wasn't ready, and it was supposed to be ready on the 1st of April, but it got pushed back to June 1st. So I was told through the person that I'm renting the property from that I could start moving my material over there. This has nothing to do with the online sales of automobiles. All these dumpsters are going to be leaving. I just had to put them there temporarily. Has nothing to do. All that's going to be gone. If you go by there in a month, all of it's going to be gone. It was just temporarily. I needed to put it there. I had no other place to put it until my new location was ready, because I outgrew my old location, which was in Merrimack.
And if the new location in Salem, you say,
Yeah,
if that's not ready,
it is ready.
it is ready?
Right. We were just talking about it today. I actually moved a dumpster down there today. So we're gonna start moving down there. All the dumpsters, my trucks, maybe I might have a truck there when I drive home at night. Like this gentleman does. He's a carpenter. He drives his trucks back and forth with debris in the back every day. I see it. But, you know,
So again, I can't stress enough that the variance that you're here to apply for tonight
right.
is,
Has nothing to do
It
with
actually has
my
nothing to
main
do with his
business.
business.
That's my main business.
Okay.
And that was just temporary. And we said, what's the odds that we're going in front of the town, and I had to do this, but it's just temporary, and you got my word that it's not gonna be there within a couple of weeks.
so, because again, what you're seeking is also part as a home occupation, which nothing should be seen. There should be no evidence of what it is that
Absolutely.
you're doing within those buildings.
100%, there's not going to be one automobile outside other than our own automobiles, unless we're driving a car with a dealer plate on it, which that's legal.
Is there anyone else who would like to come? Please approach.
USB if I need it? No, okay. I have some printouts. I'm Heather Anderson, 31 Perkins Road.
Okay. You may have to actually say your name again in the mic, because for the taping.
I got a couple, I didn't bring four.
Thank you. Yep. Oh, okay, you're gonna share?
I am the property directly, sorry, Heather Anderson, 31 Perkins Road. I'm the property directly on the other side of the pond. So if you're facing, it's the top property, number 16, lot number 16. I have similar concerns, as were mentioned previously. I brought a presentation. You've got black and white photos. I've got color photos. I've got video of cars being torn apart in that large garage, fork trucks leaving and coming every 2 minutes from that garage, going to the dumpsters, to a crane that's dumping the metal into the dumpsters. The reason I notice it is I work from home. I've lived there for 23 years. My whole house shakes when the stuff is dumped into the dumpster. So I have concerns about my foundation. I have concerns about the pond, pollution of the pond. I called the DES. I was so concerned, and they said they don't even have a license for Catco, which is referenced at the back of that property. But you can see that Mr. Belisle has run, over the past several years, Catco Recycling, which is catalytic converters, batteries. Let me see all the various things that they produce there. This is from their Facebook site, them saying what they provide. So aluminum wheels, they strip off of cars. Batteries, they strip off of cars. Brake rotors, they strip off of cars. Catalytic converters, all of those things I'm seeing coming out of the garage. At one point, over the past couple of weeks, there were up to 10 large truck vans. And I think one by one, they're being torn apart into pieces and stored, I believe, in the middle property there, not the large area, but the middle unit. I think they're being stored in there as parts to be sold online. And so I question whether the dumpsters may go, but currently, without any sort of approvals, Mr. Belisle is in the process of doing a junkyard operation. So I don't have a lot of faith that just an indoor car sales operation variance for internet sales would be something he would do. And if he is in fact moving to Salem, why can't he sell cars out of Salem, since he's not going to be actually bringing people to that location? Why does he need to sell cars out of here if he's got a full-time business elsewhere in Salem? Again, I spoke with DES, and for all of the reasons above, noise, pollution, the value of my property. I think if you look in the presentation I sent you, I'll send you the colored photo because it's much better. Just from a resale of my particular property. Colored pictures are much better. Like I said, these videos I'd be welcome to show you later. This was my property in 2020 before Mr. Belisle moved in. This is my
Madam Chair?
property now with junk and tractors.
point of order real quick?
Various stuff outside.
Nothing should be shown to the board that's not going to be made part of the public
Oh,
record.
I will give you a copy of it. We've
But
got
we have
copies
to
of
have
as
it
well.
presented as the public hearing.
Okay. Oh, okay. So how do I?
Is
do
this-
it on page number?
This is in there.
Is this the
This
same
is in there.
Yeah, it's just
I
a
just want to
copy.
make sure
Yeah, yeah.
because.
Yep, this, we're
you know
gonna,
what, guys? I
I'm gonna
apologize.
label this Exhibit A, and the pictures are in there.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So it's on page number.
Yep. Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, page number 3 of the presentation, or the photographs I showed them in black and white. So my concerns are, there's currently a business going on there. DES is unaware of it. DES is unaware of Catco recycling at all. As far as I understand, they said there's no license for it. My husband and I, we've been there 23 years. We've been good residents. We have residents in, I guess, quite expensive houses next to us and behind Mr. Belisle. All of those properties, the value is going to diminish if we continue to let this sort of operation run next door. I don't even go out my deck anymore because all I see are his fork trucks going back and forth and the garbage that's on the side of the property.
And Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
just for the record, so when the speaker approached you, she had 2 images. I think it was a color side by side
Yes, I'll show you.
of page 3. I just want to
Page
establish
3, yep.
for our record that that's what the board was shown.
That's exactly what the board is
Thank
on, page
That's all
3.
right.
Yep.
So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I noted it on the packet that I'm going to be submitting to you. that
Very good,
This is
thank
what
you.
we saw. Is there anyone else that would like to approach that is against? Please come to the podium. State your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Lynn Wiles. My address is 46 Bartley Hill Road. We're not abutters, but we live about 1,500 feet away. And I just want to point out, for the sake of the audience, that automotive sales are not a permitted use in an AR1 area. And I think that would be an overarching zoning concern over approving this as a home occupation. And I also just want to point out that as a home occupation, automotive sales are specifically stated as not being allowable.
Correct, that's why they're here for a
Nope,
variance.
But other than that, I just want to echo what everybody else has said, 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The applicant, one moment, sir. You have the opportunity for the woman, and I forgot her name, I'm so sorry.
Ms. Anderson?
Thank you. To respond to the trucks, the vans, the dismantling of parts.
The dismantling of parts has never happened. That's an absolute lie. We don't dismantle parts. My business picks up automotive rotors and caliconverters. We put automotive rotors inside bins, and we ship them to a company that melts them down into new stoves. There's no batteries there. You guys are welcome to come by anytime you want. We're not looking to do a recycling company there. The recycling company is just there right now because I'm moving to Salem, to a new location, and it wasn't ready, and I had no place to put my trucks. And, I need to feed my kids just like everybody else, and I need to keep the company going and my employees. But I'm here for a totally different thing, and it
Their
seems like I'm getting back.
speculation seems to
Yeah.
rope it together, but it's not true.
So your business was not ready in Merrimack, in Salem,
I
because you're
outgrew
presently in
and
Merrimack.
I I'm moving to Salem.
To Salem.
To
Correct.
a 2,500 to a 10,000 square foot building.
And-
So it wasn't ready. I got pushed back. I had to put some containers there. I have containers.
So you did put
elsewhere.
some containers at the 27 Perkins
I did, but
address,
they're,
okay.
they're going to be leaving. It was temporary. I actually called the town and talked to them about it, told them I was gonna have some containers there because I was getting rid of some rocks and whatnot, but I do have some of my business vehicles there, which are going to be leaving. Has nothing to do with automotive sales, and you guys are more than welcome to drive by in the next couple of weeks, and you'll see that they're gonna be gone.
Is there anyone else in opposition that would like to speak?
Jim Butler, 5A Danbury Road. I understand what this gentleman's here for, but that gentleman bought this property over a year ago, and it clearly states in all the assessments that it's an AR1 designation, which does not allow automobile sales. Now, I understand why people are a little apprehensive of what's going on there. Okay. And there is a connection. When it comes time to make a decision, and these will come to you, I'm just gonna have them pass them around. These are photos of what I look at, what other people in this room look at. And what concerns me is that this gentleman, from what I understand, and I could be corrected, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't come to the town and say, you know something, I have a problem. It's an AR1, I bought it, I want to go for online sales of automotive, I have a problem with my company, and can I put something there? It didn't happen that way. He just elected to go and put that on his property. That on his property. So when someone sits there and says, well, okay, you know, I feel bad because he bought the house, I guess he's coming to live to Londonderry. But I've seen this happen before, where you have the creep, they come in and they say they're gonna do this, all of a sudden, people are complaining because there's something outside, or there's a dumpster outside, or something like that, and the code enforcement officer has to go down there and see if they can rectify it. I feel as though if this is granted, we're gonna have the same problem. Because this gentleman didn't come to the town. I mean, yes, is he moving his business? I guess he is. But you know, I work for a company, my son owns a business. You make provisions for something like that. All this stuff, from what I can see, is all outside. He couldn't talk to the owner of the building that is being built, that he couldn't store it outside, or he couldn't find another area to store this material. Instead, what does he do? Bang, he knows it's AR1, never bothered asking the town, and look what we have. It
And-
looks like a junkyard.
And for the record,
and
when,
that's
for the record, this is
all I have to
exhibit,
say.
this, excuse me, sir, I have
Yeah,
a
sure,
question for you.
sure,
So
absolutely.
this is exhibit B, pages 1 to 5, and I would like the applicant to also see what we see because it's not up on the overhead.
Absolutely.
When were those pictures taken for the
Those
record?
were taken this afternoon, ma'am.
This afternoon?
Yes,
Okay,
and
thank you.
this has been like that, and I've actually actively have seen forklifts, or a forklift, I'm not gonna say forklifts, actively moving around on the property. So do I have a concern as a close neighbor? Does my son and my other sons have a concern? Does Chris have a concern? Chris lives right next to the property. They have containers that are lined up along the driveway heading to the house. How would you like to be the person that's on the other side of those arborvitaes? This is, to me, this is an accident waiting to happen. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
This picture right here is a picture of my race car trailer.
And his daughter's
It's been there for
race
years.
car trailer.
And my daughter's race car trailer right behind it.
This is a race car hauler that pulls that trailer.
All right, so the first page that you held up, what
And
is
if the
it
person
numbered?
On the other side of
Uh,
me
just-
had a problem.
Just declare
not
for the
here.
record,
Obviously,
the
this
first
guy's not better
page
than
that
you.
you saw, there's a page number on there, because this is Exhibit B
Yeah.
for your packet. The
Okay.
first page you just commented commented on, what is the number that I marked on that page?
Exhibit 1. I
Okay,
have
so
a-
what is Exhibit 1?
I have a race car trailer.
Okay, and that's, you said that's your what? Your car?
I haul my race car with it. I go to the races every weekend.
Okay,
I
and
have
then the
two- I have
next,
2 race car trailers.
okay, and the next picture that you commented on, what page, what
Race car,
picture?
I
What
mean-
picture number is it?
Number 2, I
Okay.
have a rollback truck
Okay,
that does not have any lettering on it. It's my own personal truck. I have one truck there that says CACO on it. I admit that's there. Exhibit 3.
okay,
I have a race car hauler that I tow my race car trailers with. That's right here. And I have one work truck behind it. And these are the trees that are, divide me and the neighbor that's next door. Let's see. I do have some empty roll-off containers there.
what's the page number?
I don't know.
For the
Oh,
record?
4.
Thank you.
They're right here. I don't, what's wrong with having those containers there? I have my Chevy pickup on the top of the hill, which is right there. I have another box truck that's here, that's not lettered. Like, all this stuff is going to be leaving in the next 2 weeks.
Not the race cars.
Not the race car trailers. And I have one forklift that does
Which
stay
is-
there, that I use to carry around my pallets of wood. So that's gonna stay there.
I know Mrs. Anderson, Miss Anderson said that she believes some stuff's happening in the middle garage, which it is. It's where he stores his race cars.
The
I
race
know
car
she said
parts,
she
and then at the end of the
believed that
day,
Parts was stored in there. You're more than welcome to come by.
we're ripping
Race
apart
cars.
cars. That's not, doesn't happen. We don't have,
It's just, so all you have to do is respond to the pictures that were just presented.
Right.
Okay,
these are containers that I have that I just couldn't bring to my new location.
okay.
So all these
Page,
are going to be leaving.
okay,
I do have an excavator there that I do yard work with.
okay. And page 5,
I've been using it. I tore down a building. I'm landscaping over there.
okay,
And page 5 is 2 other containers.
okay. Can you please hand all those pictures to Kelly, because she'll need them for the files? Thank you.
This has nothing to do with the automotive sales.
Okay,
Madam Chair, if I may, just offer staff's position on this. So as I think you pointed out, the possible current issues with the property in terms of the condition of the property are really distinct from the applicant's entitlement or lack of an entitlement to a variance tonight. I also think, it's my view that the sort of the inference that, well, we've had creep on this occasion, therefore it's more likely that if the variance is granted here, we're going to have creep on this occasion. I don't think that's a permissible inference for the board to draw as a legal matter either. And so I would just encourage the board to, in its deliberations, reference very specifically and carefully the 5 criteria as you go forward tonight.
thank you. Is everyone understand?
Somebody else raised.
And with reference to the request for the home occupation.
Correct, in
Thank you.
regards to that, yes. If you would like to speak, please come to the podium, sir.
Christopher Davies, 29 Perkins Road.
Okay.
So I'm a direct abutter to Mr. Belisle.
Okay,
In the hope of keeping focused on the 5 points,
yes,
because
please.
we've had a fair variation, I just wanted to review those and give you my opinion as an abutter. And Mr. Belisle, I'll
And you
leave
must speak
Sorry.
to the board.
So the variance would be contrary, granting the variance would be contrary to the public interest. The key thing that I found about that is that for the variance to be contrary, it must be unduly and to a marked degree violate the basic zoning. And as other people have said, the basic zoning for AR1 doesn't allow this as an occupation. The determination is, does the variance change the essential character of the neighborhood? I personally feel it would to grant a retail or commercial operation. Whether or not it's just for storage, I think there's some ancillary aspects which you have to say, vehicle delivery, vehicle pickup for transportation, vehicles coming back, being brought in and out. It will have an impact to some degree on that aspect for the character of the neighborhood. I would also reference the comment you made, in that the variance goes with the land. So this stays in perpetuity after Mr. Belisle doesn't own the property at some point. And therefore, it's fundamentally putting in a use allowance that for other people, if that variance is granted for storage and retail, it could be potentially be coming back for real retail with customers coming and going. So on that aspect, I would raise an objection. Spirit of the ordinance is observed. The guidance I've seen here is in deciding when a variance will violate the spirit or intent of the ordinance, the board must determine the legal purpose that the ordinance serves and the reason it was enacted. Well, the reason AR1 exists is because we've got large swaths of town that are agricultural, residential, and while this property was grandfathered, some of the Currier family was here. When I first moved in, Mr. Currier was operating his business there as the window company. I think he was winding it down at the time. Obviously, that was a grandfathered business. It existed well before the town zoning laws came into place. So it was grandfathered and wasn't subject to needing a variance. When Mr. Mark Pullier bought the property from Mr. Currier, he operated his countertop business. It, at that point, really was a non-conforming use of the land, and in all effect, the town should have required a variance for it. But his operation was extremely low-key. He was basically in his shop manufacturing on his own countertops, and for the last few years, I believe Mr. Pullier wasn't even doing that. He was working as a contractor with other builders. So it's had intermittent use of there, but none of those uses were approved, and only one was grandfathered. Value of the surrounding property is not diminished. I think by the effect that a grant of variance that would be in perpetuity would fundamentally impact the surrounding property values. I know that if I was buying an AR1 property in Londonderry, I would be looking at what's around it and what might happen. If I'm on the periphery of town, in what we typically call in the planning board is a buffer zone between the areas where the master plan says there should be commercial and retail operations, that there's a buffer zone between it, but buying a property there would fundamentally impact the value of it because you're going to be next to possible commercial operations. This is entirely surrounded by AR1, and that has, I think, a substantial impact on property valuations. And the last one you were wrangling over on the hardship factor, to my point, there really isn't anything distinctively unique about this property. It's another AR1 lot down Perkins Road. There's nothing that says, it's unique for retail or storage of vehicles. We have, storage facilities on Perkins, but they're down at Route 28 in the Performance Overlay District, the appropriate place for those things to be. So that's all I'll say tonight. I just remind you of those 5 points. You need to meet those, and if one of them fails, then I don't believe you can grant variance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Belisle, you have the opportunity in which to address.
I just don't think this is an ordinary property. It looks like a commercial building out front to me.
It may appear that way, but it is an AR1.
So when we went to zoning, they're the ones that suggested this route to take for, that's why we're here. They were the one that said that would fall under home occupation.
Madam Chair, I'd like just
Yes,
to
please.
clarify that zoning identified the issue, that being that this would not qualify for a home occupation without a variance, issued a denial letter and directed the applicant to the ZBA as a possible remedy.
Thank you.
That is, and that's based on the representations made to the zoning administrator at the time for
Thank you.
what they're asking.
Okay, thank you. So when you went to the town, you told them what you were going to do at that property. That's why you were instructed, and you did testify that you wanted to do online sales with no repairs there, and that it would not be seen or even known.
Correct.
Okay, so,
So when they would do it woodworking, everything was inside. Nobody could see it.
so,
When They were
okay.
doing windows, nobody could see it because it was inside.
So
what's the
you are
difference?
here today because you want to change what is being done at that building. What was done prior, whatever any of that happened pre-zoning, right now, you're here for this variance because you want to do something different.
Right.
Okay, so that's why we have to hear the case for what it is you're here for tonight, what you want to do there,
Right.
and you must meet those 5 points of law in order to not have to adhere to the AR1 zoning regulations that we have in place, because you want to do something else that's different. That's why you're here for that variance. And when anybody wants to do something other than what a variance allows you to do, you have to pass the 5 points of law, that litmus test, in order for a variance to be granted. There must be those, under those 5 points of law that you read, there must be something in there that is the reason why you're here, because you can't make use of that land because one of those 5 points of law is off for you. You can't meet it, okay? Because not everything fits in that square box in the zoning regulations. That's why you have the ability to come to have a variance. So what you're here for tonight is to have the retail vehicle sales online, no customers, and you're going to store the vehicles, and it's going to be a home occupation. So that's what you're here for, okay?
I just feel like I
Not
was
all this.
bombarded by everything else, which I don't think should have came into effect.
The,
The town was already talked to, and we're on an agreement of what I was doing, and I'm going to fulfill that agreement way before the 4th of the month, which,
So-
all that's gonna be gone.
so
This is
the,
just,
the process this evening allows the public to have a say, either for or against. It's testimony, and that's the public right, okay? Just like you have the right to come to request a variance to do something different. They also have the right to speak, okay, and how it affects them. Is there anyone else that is against the applicant on this case? Let the record show there are no more. Do I have any board members that need any further questions from the applicant? Are we good? Okay. At this time, I have no questions either. At this time, we're going to close the public portion, and we're going to go into deliberations on your variance request. Okay. Do we have to hash anything out? Is there any questions
Of the applicant?
of us?
Thank you.
Amongst ourselves?
No, I struggle with number 5.
Okay.
I struggle with number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 5 is,
Yeah.
number 5 is the problem.
Number 5 is the problem, yes. Okay. All right, well, we all agree on that. All right, are we ready to go through the 5 points? Okay, let's do it.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because
I'm going to say it would be contrary. I think that traffic coming in and out to deliver those cars and pick them up, particularly if they're successful, is going to be disruptive in a residential neighborhood.
would say it would not be contrary.
I would say it would.
I say it would be contrary due to the public being able to come in and out of that area to conduct business. This is being requested as an automotive. By its own right, when you buy an auto, you usually road test it and you come.
They said not there.
Still has to be delivered, it still has to be picked up. If they're flatbedding or they're towing it, it's still something that's gonna be happening in the neighborhood.
They don't have dealer plates today.
That's true.
So that process to bring something to be sold still has to take
We don't have
place.
to convince everybody, we just need to, what
Yeah.
does everybody else feel?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Okay, so we have
4-1.
Mr.
4-1.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if we could just make for the record that I think he was gesturing to the vice chair,
Yes.
who he agrees with, just who he agrees with.
Oh,
Yes, you just.
okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay,
Okay, so what do I write?
so we have 4
That it would be contrary.
that it would be contrary. To the public interest. So health, safety, welfare.
Because of the delivery and transportation of
So-
vehicles?
Contrary to public interest, number one is altering the character of the neighborhood.
Alter, yeah,
Those deliveries coming in and out is gonna alter the residential character of that neighborhood, as it would alter any residential character. It'd be that one.
right, any
If
neighborhood
you're
would be
selling cars out
altered.
of your house, it's
It's altered, right.
my opinion.
I agree.
Okay. 2, the spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because.
Spirit of the ordinance would not be observed because it's altering the essential character of that neighborhood.
And it goes into the health, safety, or welfare.
I agree with the chair.
I agree.
So I'll disagree again.
Okay?
Same answer as 1?
Yes.
Granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice because.
So I think the loss to the neighborhood is going to outweigh any benefits to the applicant.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. For the following reasons, the values of surrounding properties would or would not be diminished.
Well, we didn't have any actual testimony other than how people felt, but
We had pictures of the surrounding property.
and pictures of what the property looks like now, which is unrelated to what is here before us. But do we think that cars coming in and out in the neighborhood will impact the value of the other properties in the neighborhood?
It's a pretty main
Possibly.
road. I guess I would say would not.
I say it would.
I say would.
I say we would.
I say that it would.
And the reason that it would, not that we had any actual official real estate opinions, but we had public opinion for the surrounding residents and how it would impact them and their surrounding properties. And that's firsthand public testimony, which is allowed.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because, I would say there is.
I would say there is.
I would say there is.
I agree.
Because the property is not unique.
There was no evidence that the property was unique in any way at all.
The underlying purpose of the ordinance is to not have businesses running out of a residential neighborhood. This particular one would have an impact greater than running a music school. It's going to be traffic in and out of there, big traffic,
And there was no special conditions
right, that would somehow.
that would somehow pass the fifth criteria. The applicant did not prove that his property is unique and different from any other properties in the neighborhood.
Proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because?
It's not.
Is not.
Operating a business like that in a non-unique property?
In an AR1 district is not reasonable.
So this isn't gonna happen, right, guys? Obviously, it's not gonna happen. Can I go? Thank you.
Do we have any other comments or conditions? Okay. I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the request for a variance from Londonderry zoning ordinance 512-2K3 to permit online retail vehicle sales and storage as a home occupation at 27 Perkins Road, map 12, lot 96, zoned AR1, Donald Belle for case number 0517-2023-2.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I just didn't hear it. Madam Chair, if I may, just to make sure the record is clear, on the last point, that was a unanimous.
That was unanimous.
Thank you.
Correct.
Hardship is that you own the property, you want to do business on it, it's not a hardship. That's not a self-created hardship.
We can't talk about it further.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. I actually brought a nice pen tonight.
That was smart of me.
We were all searching for some last time.
No.
Signs.
Can we continue? Does anybody need a break before we continue? We're good? Okay.
Case number 517-2023-3, a request for a variance from LZO 7.7.E.3, the installation of a digital signs and electronic message board for a gas station, 124 Rockingham Road, map 16, lot 16-72, zoned C2, Convenience Plus LLC owner and Rick Hanna, Irving Oil applicant.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Rick Hanna. I'm a construction project manager for Irving Oil, not the owner, but I'm here on his behalf. So, how's everybody doing?
We're good.
Welcome to zoning.
Welcome to zoning.
Usually have, sign
It's a pleasure to be here.
For these type of cases.
So, we have obviously an Irving Oil gas station at 124 Rockingham Road in Londonderry, tax map 16, parcel 16-072, zone C 2. And my name's Rick Hanna. I work for Irving Oil at 190 Commerce Way, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And why I'm here today is because our original sign application was denied. Our sign permit was denied for adding LED pricers to our existing sign on the property that has manual pricers currently. So a variance is requested from section, actually, before I go into this, do you guys have the application in front of you?
We do.
Could you go to the picture of the sign, please? If I don't know exactly what exhibit I labeled it, but you'll see there's a couple photos and a detailed drawing of the existing sign.
Yes.
And if you flip to the next page, there should be a proposed drawing, which is basically we're only impacting the top corner of the sign. It's remaining totally as is, nothing's changed. Just that top piece. And what we're going to do is promote Irving Debit Pay, which right now is actually, if you're a rewards member, you can save 20 cents a gallon. And then the regular price, obviously not being a rewards member. And replacing the current diesel pricer with the green, there'll be a diesel panel. And we just put that there so we're not marketing the price of diesel, but customers know we offer diesel because of that panel. So now just getting into it. A variance is requested from section 7.7.E.3 of the zoning ordinance for the following reasons. And 7.7.E.7.3 reads, animated, moving, flashing, and noise-making signs are prohibited. Changeable electronic board signs are prohibited in all zoning districts. And that is why our sign permit originally was denied. So we're requesting a variance, and I'll go through, I guess, the 5 criteria you all know well. The variance will not be contrary to the public interest. And I believe it's in the public's interest to have a clearly visible price sign so they can determine that they'd like to enter our store. With the LEDs, there'll be more visibility, so that's good for our customers and safety, getting into the busy location. The spirit of the ordinance is observed. So the ordinance specifically states changeable electronic board signs. And in my opinion, there's a big difference between a changeable electronic board sign, some people call them electronic message boards, which flash, have colors, I guess can make noises. I didn't know that, but they can, I think. And what we're doing is installing LED pricers, which are changed. I talked to the store tonight on my way over here. They change the price maybe once every week, and recently it's been once every 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll change it, depending on how competitive we want to be in the market, we change it. And they really don't change a lot, and they don't flash, they don't change colors, and they emit a low light emission. So that would be, the spirit of the ordinance is observed. Substantial justice is done. It's just not to consider a non-moving, non-animated LED pricer. In this case, would be a Daktronics product. It's not just to consider that an electronic message board because they're obviously very different. And one serves one function and one serves another function. And substantial justice would be done to our store employees as well, who would no longer have to leave the store, walk through what we call the forecourt, which is underneath the canopy where the gas pumps are, go underneath that, where obviously people are parking and fueling up, and then they have to get out to the main road and change these little sliders that you're looking at in the PowerPoint here. So for them to just be able to have a remote and from the front desk just hit a button, they would be very appreciative. I actually talked to them tonight. They said they're very excited about this happening and hope you guys approve it. So that would be a substantial justice in my opinion. The values of the surrounding properties are not diminished. Well, I guess except for the changing numbers from manual to LED, some wording changes on their faces, the entire sign's gonna remain as is, as approved years ago. Nothing's changing. The requested, except for that one little corner of the sign. So I don't think it would diminish properties just changing that piece of the sign. And then lastly, the literal enforcement of the provisions of this ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. I don't know if I have to read all that other stuff, but classifying an LED pricer as an electronic message board would be an unnecessary hardship for Irving and Convenience Plus. We're currently competing with our neighbor across the street, and I'll name their address. I have it in here. At 137 Rockingham Road, so Sunoco kind of truck stop, and they applied for a variance and were granted a variance by unanimous decision in July of 2021. And they actually have four, so they have four price offerings. I don't know exactly what they are, but, you know, regular, premium, super diesel, I think. So they had four on each side of the, yep, there it is. So they were granted a variance in July 2019 to basically swap and do exactly what we'd like to do. We're actually only putting two on each side of our sign face, so we're doing half as much area as them. And really, we'd just be able to compete with them, and if we didn't get this approved, it would be an unnecessary hardship, I believe. And the proposed use is a reasonable one, kind of section 2 there. For that reason, you know, I would say that's, the proposed use is reasonable. I was provided the zoning board application back from July of 2019, you know, for Aranco Realty and New Hampshire Signs, I think, about, you know, sat for this variance. I don't know if you guys have seen it or been able to review it. I didn't attach it to my application, but they kind of made all the same arguments that I just went through. And, you know, certain things like just easier for the public to read. LED pricers are not message boards. They made that argument kind of similar to myself. And really, one of the important things, I was reading this before, you know, this morning, and it improves the ability of the owner to control prices centrally and to remain competitive. And I thought that was important, because if they were granted this ordinance and they want to remain competitive, we're across the street, you know, it kind of reinforces the argument. So with that said, I'm open to questions. I'd love to talk to you about any questions or concerns you may have. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit here and present to you guys. I get a little nervous, but it's nice to do this. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Any questions from board members?
Not a one.
Okay. I'd like to take it out to the audience. Is there anyone here in favor that would like to speak? Let the record show there is no one that is approaching. Anyone that is against? Let the record show there is no one approaching. One last time to the board. Any questions of the applicant? Okay. We will close this portion of the hearing. Let's go into, do we need to discuss
If you
anything?
wanted to talk some more, should we then?
Do we need to hash anything out, or can we go into deliberations?
I'm fine going to deliberations.
We're all good? Okay, let's go into,
Presentation.
Granting the variance would or would not be contrary to the public interest because, let's say would not.
Would not.
would not agreed.
Because having an electronic message board or electronic price display.
It's not going to alter the
Right.
essential character of the neighborhood.
The spirit of the ordinance would or would not be observed because, I would say it would, for the same
Agree.
reasons as one.
I agree.
Granting the variance would or would not do substantial justice because, I would say it would.
I agree.
I think the loss to the applicant's greater than anything,
Any gain to the public? I agree.
For the following reasons, the value of the surrounding properties would or would not be diminished. I would say would not.
Would not.
It's a commercial area.
All the
There's a sign
properties are
right
the
across
same.
the street.
All the properties are the same.
It's a lovely photo with the colorful fall. For your competition.
Yeah.
Owing to special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area, denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship because there is or is not a fair and substantial relationship between the general public purpose of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property because
Is not.
I would say there is not.
I agree.
So with the one across the street, our reasoning was that the property has many other commercial operations around it and is directly off exit 5 on I-93. This property, I believe, has the additional fact that it's a corner lot.
I agreed, yes.
The proposed use is or is not a reasonable one because, I would say it is. Signs are
Is,
reasonable.
signs are reasonable.
Comments, restrictions,
I didn't have any.
no.
We good? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion in case number 5/17/2022-3 to grant the request for a variance.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
In case number 5/17/2022-2023-4, the request for a variance was granted 5-0.
Now, before we take a 5-minute break, the next case that is up for this evening and our last case, there are two of us that must recuse ourselves. So the applicants for the last case, can you please approach so that we can let you know what's going to occur?
You're all set.
Okay, thank you.
You're good, thank you.
We look forward to doing more business.
You're
in London
good,
there.
nope, you're
Thank you.
good. So two of us are going to be recusing ourselves. That means you have just 3 board members left. You must get all 3 board members to approve your request in order to receive it. You can wait till we have a full board, and then 5 of us on. When there's 5, then you have a better chance at receiving the 3. So it's your option whether you want to, and you can only plead your case once, okay? So if you want to still have your case heard tonight with 3 board members, that's your prerogative, or you can request that you wait till our next meeting will be when?
June 21st.
You can wait till the June 21st, we can push it then, and then hopefully we'll have 5 members. So it's up to you, what you would like to do.
We'll wait.
Okay. Do I have to have a motion for that?
Can you please read the case into the record?
Sure,
and then
we sure
make a
can.
motion to continue?
Case number, go ahead, Brandon.
So I can't remember. Can I read? I would be one of the people recusing myself. Can I still read it in?
Yeah.
Okay. Case number
Just
5.
don't act on the motion.
Okay, so we can't act on that.
Okay.
Case number 5/17/2023-4, a request for a variance from LZO 4.2.1.4.a to allow 1 horse on a parcel containing less than 2 acres, 34 Kit Lane, map 10, lot 16-25, zoned AR1, David Koskia, owner and applicant.
So you will have to ask, yeah.
The applicants have requested a continuance to our next hearing on June 21st. If I could get a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion.
A second. All those in favor?
Aye. So, but when they come back, two recused.
Okay, so you are, will come back June 21st. Okay. Do I have to also let the audience know that there will be not a second notification? And for the record, there will not be another notification of all the abutters. Okay, you must come back for the June 21st hearing. Okay. Thank you. Last part of our meeting this evening, any communication or miscellaneous information that we need to handle tonight?
Not for me.
We don't have any. Okay. Do we have any other business? Do I have a motion to end this meeting for May 17th, 2023?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.